When everyone turns their back on you, God extends his hand. Have you ever felt that? That moment when the phone stops ringing, the messages disappear, and the silence becomes so heavy it feels like it's screaming in your ears. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll discover a biblical truth that will completely change how you see loneliness. Something that many Christians have never realized about God's purpose in abandonment. Abandonment has a sound. It's not noise, it's quite the opposite. It's that silence that comes after everyone leaves. When the world turns its back on you, you discover that the emptiness can be deafening. The people who promised to be by your side, gone. The friends who said, "You can count on me," vanished like mist in the morning sun. And you're left there alone, trying to understand what happened. You know what's most painful? It's not just their absence. It's realizing that maybe you were never a priority, that when the storm came, when you needed them most, they simply chose the exit. And now you're here carrying this weight, this question that won't go away. Why? What did I do wrong? Rejection has this strange power to make us question everything. Our identity, our worth, even our faith. It is in these moments of solitude that the enemy whispers the most dangerous lies. You are not important. You don't deserve love. Even God has forgotten you. But is that true? When everyone abandons you, does God also leave you alone? There are people listening to this right now and feeling a tightness in their chest. Because you know this silence well, don't you? You've slept embraced by this pain. You've woken up with it by your side. You've tried to understand. You've cried in secret. You've pretended everything is all right when inside everything is crumbling. Faith in times of loneliness isn't easy, but perhaps that's exactly when it matters most. But what if I told you that this silence, this abandonment you're experiencing, isn't the end of your story? What if it's precisely the beginning of something that only God could write? Because when the world turns its back on you, that's when God finally gets your complete attention. Have you ever cried in a place where no one could see you? Have you ever screamed inside while smiling on the outside? There's a pain that won't leave your mouth. It's trapped in your chest, hammering, burning, bleeding silently. It's the kind of pain you can't explain to anyone, because when you try, the words seem too small. So you keep it all inside. You swallow hard. You hold on tight. But inside, you're begging for answers. God understands your pain, even when you can't put it into words. And it is precisely at this point that the most dangerous question arises, the one that slowly corrodes faith. Where is God in all of this? Because if he is love, if he is powerful, if he promised never to leave us, why did he allow this to happen? Why did he let people abandon you? Why didn't he prevent the rejection? Let me tell you a story. A true story, recorded thousands of years ago, but which could have happened yesterday. Joseph was 17 years old when his own brothers, those who should have protected him, threw him into an empty cistern. They sold him into slavery. They took everything from him: family, freedom, dignity. Joseph was betrayed by the one he loved most. And what did he do? Where was God when Joseph was at the bottom of that dark pit, listening to his brothers' laughter as they counted the money from their betrayal? God was there, silent, invisible, but present. Joseph didn't understand anything at that moment. He only felt the sharp pain of abandonment. But God was weaving something that Joseph would only see years later, a purpose so great that it would save entire nations. Hope in the midst of rejection isn't about understanding everything now. It's about trusting that God never wastes our pain. Then Joseph ended up in Potiphar's house. He began to recover. He gained confidence. And then he was unjustly accused and thrown into prison. More abandonment, more rejection, more years alone. Can you imagine what was going through his head? God, where are you? I tried to do the right thing. Why does everything go wrong? But even in prison, God did not abandon him. He never abandoned him. Do you know why I told you this story? Because maybe you're in your own pit right now, or in your own prison. and all you see is darkness. But God is writing something your eyes can't yet read, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Some things fall apart, relationships, dreams, structures, certainties, but there is one thing that never falls apart. When everything around you is crumbling, when it seems like even the ground beneath your feet is cracking, there is a truth that transcends the chaos. God never leaves you alone. No matter how many people have left, no matter how many doors have slammed in your face, no matter how many promises have been broken, God remains, steadfast, unwavering, standing. Do you know the difference between people's love and God's love? People's love has conditions. I love you if you're useful. I'll stay. As long as it's convenient, I'll support you, as long as it doesn't cost me too much. But God's unconditional love, there are no ifs, there are no buts, there's no expiration date. He doesn't love you for what you do. He loves you for who He is. People leave. It's painful, but it's true. They leave because they are human, limited, flawed like you and me. But God, He is unchanging. Hebrews 13:5 says, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." Never. Not even when you fail, not even when you doubt, not even when you cry out to Him, not even when you feel unworthy. God is a refuge in times of abandonment, not a refuge you need to earn, but a refuge that is already open, waiting for you to enter. There are times when we look back and see so much loss that it seems impossible to go on. But if you look closely, you'll realize something. You're still here, breathing, standing. Even if you're stumbling, you haven't fallen completely. And do you know why? Because there's an invisible hand holding you, a presence that hasn't let you sink. When everyone abandons you, God remains, not as a pretty idea, not as a catchy phrase, but as a living reality. He is the God who promised to be with us until the end of the age. And God doesn't break promises, people break them. Circumstances change, but God, He is the rock that doesn't move while everything around crumbles. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." He didn't say, "Maybe I'll help you." He said, "I uphold you." And when God sustains, nothing falls completely. Have you ever stopped to think about how you're still standing after everything you've been through, everything you've lost, everything that hurt? How come you haven't given up? The answer is simple yet profound. God extends His hand when no one else believes. Even when you don't feel it, even when you don't realize it, He is acting. These are those inexplicable moments. A strength that comes from nowhere when you no longer had it. A word that arrives at the exact right time. A casual encounter that changes everything. A peace that makes no sense to have in the midst of chaos. The Bible calls this grace. But we can call it by its true name, God caring for the forgotten. Because while the world crosses you off the list, God writes you on the palm of His hand. Isaiah 49:16 says exactly that. "See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands." Not with ink that fades, not with a pencil that disappears. Engraved, permanent, eternal. God works in ways we only realize later. Look, that door that closed and you cried for days. Maybe it spared you from a path that would have destroyed you. That person who left your life, maybe it made room for someone God prepared especially for you. That no you heard, maybe it was God redirecting you to His perfect yes. God is present in pain, not just watching from afar, but right there, in the center of it, weaving purpose where there seems to be only fragmentation. He is the God who transforms grief into dance, ashes into beauty, despair into hope. But for that, He needs you to trust even when you don't understand. That you continue even when you see no way out. That you believe even when everything screams the opposite. Also, if this message is touching your heart, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. This helps this content reach more people who need to hear that they are not alone. And look, I know it seems like just a button, but it could be God's touch in the life of someone who is thinking of giving up. Now answer me this. What if everything you're going through isn't punishment but preparation? What if God isn't abandoning you but positioning you? God's purpose in suffering is one of the hardest truths to swallow, because we want quick answers, immediate relief, uninterrupted happiness. But God works on deeper levels. He's not just interested in your comfort. He's committed to your character, to your transformation, to your eternal destiny. Think about it. If Joseph hadn't been rejected by his brothers, he would never have gone to Egypt. If he hadn't gone to Egypt, he would never have been prepared to rule. If he hadn't ruled, he wouldn't have saved his family from famine. The very betrayal that wounded him was the bridge God used to fulfill his purpose. Can you see? The abandonment wasn't the end. It was God's method. Now look at your life. What hurt you may be exactly what God is using to mold you. Faith that sustains when everything collapses isn't born in prosperity. It's forged in the fire of suffering. It's easy to believe when everything is going well, but to believe when everything crumbles, that's true faith. That's trust that overcomes the impossible. Romans 8:28 is not a refrigerator verse, it's a promise of war. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. All things. Not just the good things, not just the easy things, all things, even rejection, even abandonment, even loneliness. God is an expert at transforming tragedy into testimony, wounds into wisdom, desert into a springboard. Hope and faith in moments of solitude are born when you understand that God never wastes pain. He doesn't cause evil, but he even uses evil to fulfill his plans. And his plans, they are always bigger, better, deeper than anything you could imagine. So, that abandonment that almost destroyed you, it might be the greatest blessing in disguise in your life. Because sometimes God needs to empty your hands of what is good to fill them with what is perfect. Psalm 147:3 says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." It doesn't promise that you won't break. It promises that he will heal you. There's a moment in the journey of faith when everything changes. It's not something external, it's internal. You may still be in the same difficult situation, but something inside you awakens. It's like a light turns on in the darkness. And you realize, I will get up. I don't know how, but I will. God lifts you up when the world knocks you down, and he does it from the inside out. God's restoration is unlike any other. The world fixes, God restores. The world glues the pieces back together. God creates new. 2 Corinthians 5:17 makes this clear. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here. God isn't interested in making you revert to who you were. He wants to transform you into who you were created to be. Emotional healing through God's presence isn't instantaneous, but it's real. It comes like a sunrise, slow but inevitable. First, an almost imperceptible brightness, then a growing light, until suddenly you look at the sky and realize the night has passed, the sun has risen, you survived, and more than that, you are stronger. God restores rejected hearts, not only by healing the wound, but by using the scar as a testimony. Every pain you've endured will become a bridge for someone who is where you once were. Every tear you've shed will water the garden of your story. And when God finishes working in you, your life will shout an undeniable truth. God is faithful. The God who raised Joseph from prison to the palace is the same God who is raising you now, from the ground of rejection to the purpose of restoration. From the solitude of pain to the fullness of divine presence. He never gave up on you, not even when you gave up on yourself. So get up, not because you're ready, not because the pain has stopped, but because God is reaching out his hand. And when he lifts you up, nothing, absolutely nothing, can bring you down again. Do you remember the last time you felt God's love? That love that warms you from within, that calms the storm, that makes everything worthwhile. Some people lost that along the way. The pain was so great that it created a wall between their heart and God. It's not that faith disappeared, it just lay dormant beneath the weight of disappointment. But the time has come to wake up, to feel again, to experience what should never have been forgotten, how to feel God's love once more. God's love is not like human love. It doesn't go away when you fail. It doesn't diminish when you doubt. It doesn't grow cold when you distance yourself. In fact, it's precisely when you distance yourself that He draws closest. Like the father of the prodigal son, waiting, watching, running to meet you the moment you decide to return. John 3:16 is the most well-known verse, but few truly stop to feel its weight. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son. God didn't just say He loves you, He proved it. He gave what He had most precious, for you, for me, for all of us. This is the divine comfort for those who suffer, knowing that God Himself knows pain, knows rejection, knows abandonment. God never forgets you. Even when you think He has turned His back on you, when you feel your prayers aren't reaching you, when it seems like heaven is silent, He is there, listening, feeling, crying with you, planning the restoration, preparing the miracle, because His love doesn't depend on circumstances. It simply is. It's funny how we look for love in so many wrong places. We chase approval, validation, belonging. We try to fill the void with people, achievements, distractions. But there is only one love that truly fills. There is only one presence that truly completes. And that presence is here now, enveloping you, whispering, "I never left you. I was always here." Close your eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and let that love reach you again, because God hasn't given up on you, and He never will. Holding someone's hand is a simple gesture, but when you're falling, when everything is slipping away, feeling a hand holding yours, that changes everything. When God holds your hand, it's not a poetic metaphor, it's spiritual reality. It's feeling a strength that doesn't come from within. It's having courage that doesn't make sense to have. It's continuing to walk even when your legs tremble, because you are no longer alone. You never were, and now you know it. Trusting God when everyone else turns away is probably one of the hardest things there is, because trust is built on evidence, and it seems like all the evidence is against you. But faith isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to believe despite fear. It's reaching out your trembling hand and feeling God's firm hand holding yours. The Bible is full of people who walked hand in hand with God through the most impossible moments. David fleeing from Saul, Elijah in the desert wanting to give up, Paul in prison writing about joy, Peter sinking in the water until he cried out, "Lord, save me!" And Jesus immediately reached out His hand. Immediately. Not after Peter proved he deserved it, not after he perfectly repented. Immediately. This is how God works. It doesn't matter how deep you've sunk. It doesn't matter how long you've been away. The second you cry out, He answers. The instant you seek Him, He's already there. Hope and faith in moments of solitude become real when you realize you never needed to reach out to God. It was always outstretched toward you. And now you learn to walk again. Not with the strength you had before, with a different, greater strength, one that doesn't depend on you. You discover that you can cross valleys because He walks beside you, that you can face giants because He fights for you, that you can start over because He has already prepared the way. And you know what's even more incredible? Remember when I promised something special at the beginning? A biblical revelation that would change everything? The time has come. And what I'm about to show you will make you see your pain in a completely different way. The revelation is this: God didn't allow everyone to abandon you in order to destroy you. He allowed it so that you could finally discover that He is all you need. While you had people around you, it was easy to divide your trust. A little in God, a little in friends, a little in family. But when everyone was gone, only God remained. And that's when you discovered something that many Christians take a lifetime to learn. He is enough, more than enough. He is everything. Spiritual restoration after rejection isn't about returning to what you were. It's about moving forward to what God always intended you to be. Joseph understood this. When he finally reunited with the brothers who sold him, he said something revolutionary in Genesis 50:20. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." They did the worst. God transformed it into the best. That's God's specialty. How do you find strength in God? By stopping trying to find it anywhere else. It's a painful but liberating process, because when you finally understand that no person can be your savior, no relationship can be your refuge, no achievement can be your purpose, you find the one who is all of that and more. God never leaves you alone, even when it seems like he does, even when it hurts too much, even when you scream and the sky seems empty. He is there, weaving, working, transforming, preparing you for something so great that it needed all this preparation. Because the glory of destiny must be proportional to the pain of the journey. Now you are standing, not perfect, not without scars, but standing, walking, breathing, believing, with a faith that was tested in the fire and came out pure as gold, with a testimony that will reach people only you can reach, with a story that only God could write. Look back now. Do you see the whole journey you've been on? The tears, the sleepless nights, the days you almost gave up, all of that brought you here. And here is not the end. It's a new beginning guided by God's hand, sustained by his love, directed by his purpose. If you're listening to this now and feel you've gone through or are going through this valley, I want you to know your story doesn't end in abandonment. It begins with reunion. Reunion with God, with yourself, with the purpose that has always been there waiting. From today onward, whenever silence comes, whenever loneliness tightens its grip, remember, when everyone abandons you, God remains. Not as a last resort, but as your first love. Not as a temporary crutch, but as an eternal foundation. He is the God who cares for the forgotten, who extends a hand when no one else believes, who restores rejected hearts and transforms pain into purpose. If this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Comment below, "God has never abandoned me," and let this testimony strengthen someone else's faith. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more content that will edify your spiritual life. Because when the world turns its back on you, when everyone abandons you, when hope amidst rejection seems impossible, that's when God's unconditional love reveals itself most powerfully. Spiritual comfort in difficult times is not the absence of pain, but the presence of God in the midst of it. You will get through this, not because you are strong, but because God is faithful. Not because you deserve it, but because he loves you unconditionally. And one day when you look back, you will be grateful even for the abandonment, because it was he who led you into the arms of the only one who will never let you go. I leave you with Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. God is with you. He always has been. He always will be. May this truth resonate in your heart today and every day of your life.